Hey, Javier. Hey, Lola, how are you? How's everybody? Hey, girl. Everybody good? Owen might not be here yet. He might still be barely getting home from work, but it was his topic, so I went ahead and tagged him in, and I know he'll probably join us as soon as he can. I had another girl, actually a girl and a guy, inbox me last week. One inboxed me the same exact day that we had the show. Hey, Kiki. Always some idiot. Seriously? Go away. Okay. I'm trying to tell you to block people. I understand why people call people on Messenger that they don't even know. Hello, hello. How's everybody? Welcome. I swear, and they'll probably call 10 more times. Like, you don't understand that. I don't talk to people I don't know like that. On Facebook Messenger phone anyway. Anyway, all of that. Welcome, everyone. How are you doing? We're having a show here. Please do not call my messenger. Please. Hello, Kenny. How are you? Bruce Lee? Lee? Hey. Hey, everybody. Juan Carlos, welcome. Okay, so tonight's topic is going to be all things parenting. This seems like, every time that we have a conversation about situations, we always end up talking about the kids too, So everybody's been asking me to do, and Owen suggested that we go ahead and do all things parenting. So talk to me about parenting now in this day and time, how different it is. I'm great. Thank you for asking. And I'm great, everybody. I'm doing perfect. Yeah, actually, I'm great. Can't complain. I have allergies and sinuses, but that's just how it goes. I'm hoping they'll be gone by my birthday. 2 days is my birthday. And I'm hoping they'll be gone because I don't want to sound like this, and I don't want to be having a runny nose and itchy eyes where I want to scratch my ears and my eyeballs out. I just don't want to do it. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. So let's talk about all things parenting on this season 2, episode 11 of Fancy's Let's Talk About It. Thanks so much. Thank you. Okay, so on all things parenting, we talk about situations right now where, like, a lot of people say, oh, like, my children are grown. I had to learn how to let them go and live their life. I had to learn to understand that, they're going to make their own decisions no matter what I say, no matter how I try to protect them or prevent them from pain or injury or hurt, because I love them so much. We talk about how, it's difficult parenting. What if you were a parent that you already had a grown child, or semi-grown, and then you have another baby, down the line. I have, friends and family that have had children later on after they already have practically a grown child. And the whole situation of how it's a difference when you're parenting, right? Between the different generations. Because now we're in 2018. People that are dealing with children that are, are now 20, 21 years old, people that are dealing with brand new newborns, and versus the time that you were raising them in the 90s versus the 2000s children. And we're currently at 2018, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult for us to decipher how we're going to take care of things that we need to take care of when it comes to these grown children, right? Or even the new generation of children. So talk to me about what you think. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Rocky. If I have not shouted you out, please know that I do see you, and I appreciate you for joining. And so tonight we're talking about, and you have to work with me because I am on both Instagram and Facebook Live at the same time. It makes it so much easier just to do it all in one. So parenting now. How difficult do you find parenting now? Whether you have a young child, a newborn, and thank you. First comment, she said, "I'll still whoop that ass." And so that's the thing, some people that have strong opinions about parenting. Some people believe in spanking. Some people don't. Everybody's opinion here is welcome. Absolutely welcome. So Lala says, "I will still whoop that ass if he acts up." And just so you do know, Lala has one son. Ooh, a whole what? 20? He's going to be 27 years old, right? Okay, all right. A whole grown up who has his own life going and his own child already. So doesn't matter. She says she'll still get in where she fits in, and she'll still go on and lean in on it if she has to. Don't be disrespectful. So now, how do you find parenting now that you have a grandchild and you're watching your child parent? You know, how difficult is it for you to take your hands off, or if you see your child making a choice that you're worried about? Hey everybody on this side on Instagram, welcome. Tonight we're talking about all things parenting. We're talking about the difficulties that you have, Marcus. We're talking about the difficulties you have with parenting now versus before. Whether you have a child that's, you already have a child that's in their teens, their late teens, or they're either grown, and then maybe you start a new relationship and you have small children, or even, you have a family, because you have through marriage or whatever. Hey, brother, I hope you're feeling well. Welcome, Larry. I heard you weren't feeling well. I hope you're feeling well. I hope things are improving for you. And welcome everybody. Welcome everybody on IG, please. And welcome everybody on Facebook Live as well. Tonight's topic, again, is all things parenting. And so when we're having our discussions, typically we talk about, how no matter what you try, when your child is a certain age or they've got a certain mindset, it's very difficult to try to help them put your hands on the situation and try to prevent them from having, difficulties and being hurt or feeling pain. So I want to know what your opinions are about parenting. Lala says, I'll still whoop that ass if he gets out of line. What is your opinion on it? Whether you have grandchildren now and you're watching your children that you raise your grandchildren or attempt to raise your grandchildren, what are the difficulties you've had so far? And on the other side, the flip side of it, to tie it in, I had someone hit me on the PM about baby mama and baby daddies. And not necessarily in a negative way, just sort of how do you deal with the separation when the child has both parents, they have the mom and the dad, but they have different houses, and how it's hard when you have inconsistencies, whether you go to one house and one parent's not doing one thing that the other parent is doing, you're not enforcing it. Hey, everybody. And so what are the difficulties that you find when you're dealing with, separate homes, but you have a whole family in just two separate homes? And what if, you are remarried, or what if your, the father or the mother is remarried? How does that affect the parenting? Because, I found that you have to have it all, you have to be on the same page when it comes to the children. And the parents, no matter what, whether they work together, and I'm gonna preface all of this. I got you, Lala, I'm about to get you. But I'm gonna preface all of this by saying, at one time, that person that you had that baby with was something that you wanted. Whether it was a long-term relationship, maybe it was something y'all just fell into. Maybe it was for one night, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that it's just one night, but it does happen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times our eyes deceive us. We get in situations, and you might end up with a baby, right? Okay, so then you don't really know anything about each other, so that creates a difficult situation where there's tense, where it's tense. Okay, so Lala says, I'm by no means a perfect parent, probably not even a good one, but I let my son parent how he wants, but in the end, my opinion counts. Okay, so as a grandparent, she lets him do his own style, but in the end, she makes it known that her opinion does count. It's important, and absolutely is, because you have a responsibility. You still have a responsibility to correct your children. You still have a responsibility to protect your children, no matter what their age is. I used to not understand what my mom used to say to me. My mom used to cry, and she used to say, welcome on IG and welcome on Facebook. All things parenting tonight. Sorry, y'all. Y'all going to see me rubbing my nose, scratching my face, scratching my eyes. I'm trying not to, but I am in a lot of allergies and sinuses. I'm about to die. I've had so many naps this week after work, I can't even tell you how many naps I've had. That's why I'm running a little bit behind, because I was napping, of course, because I can't take drugs at all. So then Lala says, so basically I get my way regardless. Maybe I'm just a bully. It's not that you're a bully. It's that you take your parenting very seriously, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because if your child did not have you, they would be, in the ways of the world, per se, out there really, really bad, you know what I'm saying? Or could possibly be in jail or in the grave, because of their bad choices, and not being a parent to your grandchild at all. So it's good. Some people believe in spanking, and some people do not believe in spanking. And I'm very strong in my opinions about that. My attitude changed between the time that I raised kids and between the time that I saw grandchildren, and even my siblings having children, because my siblings and I are 4 and 5 years apart. And then on the longer end of the spectrum, I have siblings that are more than 15 years younger than me. Okay? So that's because my dad remarried and has 2 other children. And they're my siblings too. So I've seen it, you know what I'm saying? And I see the difference in, you know, now how I feel about every child is not, these children now, I always make fun, I always joke and say that these kids now come out like, they come out already like grown. Like they're born and then they're, I mean, it's amazing. I have like a 7-week-old or 8-week-old, let's see, was about an 8-week-old godchild now. And this child at 2.5, 3 weeks was already like moving around, picking her head up. I mean, like just watching TV, eyes open. It was just like, you're like, where did you come from? Like, what, like I'm looking up at the sky, like, did that starship drop you off or what? Because I never seen a small baby like this, you know, so active like this, you know what I mean? But then when I think back, you know, like my nephew was like 5 months old, doing everything. You know, he's 10 now, but he was on the computer. I mean, like he understood everything. Dancing, moving, you know, trying to talk. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you're like, where do these kids come from? So they're so much more advanced. And so my point with it is that the same techniques that used to work for us don't necessarily work for them. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, when I was raising the 2, you know what I'm saying? One child, separate child. 2 children. One, you could look at him and say, hey, welcome, Ken. You could look at him and say, you could just look at him and he would know that, you know, I'm not, Sam the man, what's up? Blessed up. So you could look at him and you could look at him and he knew I meant business. And I had to say nothing else. I didn't have to threaten him or anything. The other one, I mean, you have to take the belt too, or you have to punish her like in a major way. But me, like, I'm more emotional, so I don't like put hands on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't necessarily agree with that. To each his own. But to me, it really didn't accomplish much when you're dealing with an angry child for whatever the reason is. She would challenge you. She would buck you. You know what I'm saying? She would want you to fight with her. And that doesn't work on all children. So the way that I'm going to tell you that I had to raise mine were choice and consequence. At some point, you have to make a decision, and how to make the decision that it was choice and consequence. Just like a grown-up out here in this world, we make choices, and for every choice there's a consequence, whether it's a positive or negative consequence. So that's where the difficulties come in. And children, of course, obviously, and as they should, have more rights than ever before. And then Lala says they mostly understand, and if you talk to them about everything, they get it. But they will try and test you. They absolutely will. It's something to do also, Lala, with their age. They do it all the time. You know what I mean? You know, it's always been said that a son will always try to test his father and buck up to his father. Chili, welcome. You know, that they will buck up their father. And I never thought I would see that day. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. But I remember the day that Xavier did that to his dad. I mean, I was totally shocked. And he was dead in the wrong. We were correcting him, and he just got fly about the mouth. And his dad was like, what? You know, and then his dad was like, look, you know, like, hey, no holds barred, will lay your ass out. Like, do not play with me. Like, you exist because of me. Like, I take care of you. You're my child. And don't even think. I mean, and, you know, he tried to buck up, you know, start trying to put hands up and stuff. So that was some shit I never expected to see out of a quiet-natured child. But it went down. And, yeah, you're right. They will test you. And, yes, she absolutely was a little bit older. But it's not like she didn't grow up knowing the difference. You know what I mean? It's just that once a child, you know, smells themselves, per se, feels themselves, per se, they want to test you, you know what I'm saying, in a way, because they're going to try to get what they want. Once you realize, after it's all said and done, we don't always realize that while it's happening, we don't understand the reasons. But once you see it after it's all said and done, then you understand. For me, there was a reason why she did what she did. You know, but she got to put out the house because her father and I were not going to have that. Because you're not going to swing on your parents. You're not going to be disrespectful to your parents. You know, we put everything into you, every effort into you to make sure that you're protected and safe. It's very difficult to parent children. Now, right now, if you ask me, and hey, I might get the G points taken away a little bit, but I don't care. It's because I'm more knowing now than I ever was before. I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say it lightly. I'm going to say that a lot of things, the way our parents disciplined us, it's because that in most cases the way they were disciplined or not disciplined. So just because the spanking worked for them or the discipline worked for them doesn't necessarily mean that it worked for us. You know, a lot of us are holding scars because of the way that we were disciplined. I'm not going into any specific details, but if it was within reach, I was getting my ass tore up with it. You see what I'm saying? It didn't matter what it was. And I have scars to prove that. And I don't feel the same way. So therefore, I would not handle children the way that I was handled. And that's just all there is to it. It's not bashing my parents at all, or my mom, or whatever. It's not. You know, but your parents parented you and disciplined you in the way that they were raised or not raised to do. And you will replicate that behavior and duplicate that behavior. But once you learn the consequences of, hey, Ashley, once you learn the consequences of the behavior and you see the pain that the children exhibit, and not just because it's more than a physical, because the pain of the spanking would go away. But depending on the way that you talk to them, when you were spanking them, or if you were angry when you disciplined them, or the way that you handled them, or what you used to spank them with, or discipline them with, there's consequences for your actions as the parent or the adult. So therefore, in this, for me, you will say, oh, that little kid needs to get his ass beat, because if he got his ass beat, he would act right. You say, you're a bad little ass kid. You know what I'm saying? So, me, I don't believe in the spanking. I'm on choice and consequence. I'm not going to touch no child. I'm not trying to go to jail, period. You're not going to have an opportunity to say that I abused you. Furthermore, I don't want to have to lay hands on you, because it's not even like that. To me, you know, I know. So it was like, when you know better, you do better. But it's to each his own. You know, there's plenty of things that you can do to discipline them that you don't have to spank them. And we would go back all around. Yeah, you might have worked because you were fearful of your parents. Yes, there was consequences. The pain was the consequence. You didn't want to get your ass beat. You didn't want to end up having scars, or, you know, or you know, the words were painful, emotional scars or physical scars. You didn't want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that to transfer over to these small children now. They're not built the same as we were. These children are a lot more weak. Do you hear the difference in the suicide rates now? It's so much more prevalent now. And it's not just because we have social media. It's not just because, no, the shit is going down. It's going down. These children are practically raising themselves. So that's just my opinion. I'm just not going to do it. I might snatch them up, you know, say, hey, look, go sit over there in the corner. You know, these are the rules, you know, but it's to each his own. To me, the spanking, I'm not doing. It's not doing it. Grandchildren are not. Adult children, yes, I will get in that ass. I will correct you. I will set you straight. But I'm not about to put my hands on you. It's just not going to happen. I'm not doing it. And I feel differently now than just because I knew it, I saw it. I feel differently. The same type of parenting does not work from generation to generation. These kids are different now. You worry for them. You worry for their safety. You worry for their health, their well-being, their mental wellness. They're going to make the decisions, and there's nothing that you can do to stop them. Just like your parents couldn't stop you. You wanted to be grown. You couldn't wait to be grown. Oh, I'm going to be 18 and I'm going to be grown. You know, you can tell me what to do. I'm going to have my own life. When I have kids, I'm going to do what I want with my kids. If I want 20 kids, I'm going to have them, and I'm going to treat them different. I'm never going to do this to them, you know, until reality sets in and sinks in. And then you have to actually raise some children. You have to deal with another human being who has an attitude, you know, especially if they're girls. Because, you know, and especially during the time they're coming of age, you know what I'm saying? Their body is going through so many changes. And those are the type of things that it was not discussed with me. It was no real discussion of what my body was going to go through. There was no discussion about sex, or there was no discussion about, you know, the puberty and all of those things. That was not discussed. It was practically just, you just don't do it. You just don't have sex. You just don't do it till you're grown, out of my house, married, whatever. You know, you just don't do it. That's all there is to it. So there was no discussions of that. So you have to actually invest. And as a parent, you have to know your child. You don't have to be best friends with them. That's a mistake. I've never agreed about the best friend stuff. Maybe as an adult, you could be best friends because they really need you. And despite what you think, they'll hate your guts at 18 years old. They'll hate your guts at 25 years old. But I promise you, they will be back. They will be back. They will appreciate and love you, and they will talk to you, and they will be all in love with you again. I didn't understand what my mom would say to me. Couldn't understand what my mom would say to me. You know, she would cry. She would be like, you know what? You have your kids for all your life. You raise your kids. You give them everything, and not material things. You give them your heart. You give them your soul, and then they just leave you and abandon you. And my mom would cry, and I would be like, Mom, we're here. Like, we're your kids. We're still around. No, you have your own life. Nobody's worried about your mom. Nobody's worried about their mom, and you don't see me. You don't do it. I'm like, we have a life just like you had a life when you raised us. So now we have a life, and we have commitments and responsibilities. And welcome, Jackie. And we have responsibilities and commitments, and it's like, what? Like, it doesn't mean that I don't love you. But she would cry, and I didn't understand. You don't understand until you go through the empty nest situation. But I can promise you that it will get better. It's going to get better. Hey, everybody. It's going to get better. The parenting it's going to get better. You have to figure out what works for you as a parent. And again, you have to be consistent across the board. You and the significant other, the ex-husband, ex-wife, the baby daddy, baby mama, you got to sit down and be grown and have a discussion. And you say, oh, it sounds easier. It's easier said than done. But the truth is, if you're investing these small people, these young people, you know that it's important for you to be consistent across the board. If I don't let you do a certain thing at my house, they shouldn't let you do a certain thing at their house either. We should be sitting here having a discussion about what's going on across the households. You shouldn't be like, I get to go to my daddy's house or my mama's house, and I get to act buck wild, go buck wild, and I come back and everything's out of whack. Over here, because we drink, we do this, we do this, we do that. It's all no holds barred. I got a bedtime. No, we need to have discussions about what's going on. And it's not about a bad baby mama or a bad baby daddy. It's about being consistent and being good parents, putting your differences to the side for the child or children. And what if there's multiple baby daddies and baby mamas and the kids are seeing situations? It's hard. I commend people that can get along with their spouse, ex-spouses, or baby daddy, baby mamas, new spouse, new significant other, new love interest. That's an amazing thing. I couldn't have it any other way. It doesn't matter if you like me or not. The fact is that we have to do it. We were here. Hey, Yolanda, how are you? It's been forever. We were here. You know what I mean? In the same situation, I'm dealing with a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm having to deal with, baby mama drama, baby daddy drama. No, let's have a conversation about what we can do. This is the adult and grown thing to do, is to sit down and talk. It doesn't mean that you're my best friend. It doesn't mean that you don't have the most hate for me ever. You might think I took your man or vice versa, or he might think that, the other guy took your woman. None of that matters. All of that stuff is out the window. This is the thing that I need people to recognize. When you have a child, your life becomes all about that child. You invest everything that you have into that child. All this, I need to have my mama needs her time, mama needs her life. That's nonsense. Or daddy needs to do that. Yeah, you do. There's a time and a place for that. But while you are raising that child, that's your ultimate responsibility, is that child. That's a 24/7, 365 responsibility. It's team no sleep. It's team no money. It's team struggle. It's team no food at times. I have gone without everything for my kids. And that's just the way that it is. As a parent, you do what you have to do. All the way around. You put your pride to the side. You figure it out. It's not about that. So for that element of this situation, when it comes to baby daddy, baby mama, ex-husband, ex-wife, you got to figure out what it's going to take. It's two grown, responsible people. And I'm going to be real with you. A lot of times, it's very beneficial to you when they actually do have a new spouse or a new significant other that's in for the long haul. It really does work in your favor, because that's another voice of reason to help you out. I know I have dealt with the most ignorant of the ignorant of the ignorant baby mamas, baby daddy situations in the whole wide world. New spouses, everything. But I promise you, if you are consistent and you are who you are all the time, look, you can't get a rise out of me if you want to. It's not going to happen. You don't have to deal with emotions. I don't deal with emotions in this situation. This is strictly business. This is strictly black and white. These are the facts. When you deal with emotions, When you let your emotions take over, you're going to lose every single time. So you have to understand that this is about facts. Black and white. This is our child together or children together. And this is what has to happen. Across the board, we need to be consistent. What is it that you allow in your home? This is what I allow in my home. Okay? Now let's compromise. If I say my house bedtime is 9, your house bedtime is 10, then guess what? Let's talk about it being 9:30. The child then understands that we're working together as a team. And this is what's up. You know, if you know that I don't allow that at my home and it's for the benefit of the child and it's their best interest, then don't disrespect me by going against what I'm saying. And on the same token, yes, you don't live here, but I'm going to do the same thing for you over here. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be like, oh, I'm going to go with my daddy, or I'm going to go with my mama, and I'm going to get this. The children are going to play you against each other. They're going to come and say this and come and say that. They are very, very slick. That's how they are. So if y'all are on top of them, y'all are working together as a team, you're going to be fine. I promise you. So everyone says it's difficult. It's difficult when you start over. It's difficult when you have a 16 or 17-year-old child and now you have a newborn. It's difficult when you have a 16 or 17-year-old child and you get married, or your significant other comes into the mix and they got children too. Especially when they're the same exact age as yours. Oh my God. Hormones on 1 million. Attitude on 1 million. Especially if they're the same sex. Oh my God. Competition is horrible. Trust and believe I know what I'm talking about. So I promise you, you will make it through. You just have to figure out what works. On the discipline level, on the disciplinary level, you have to figure that out too. Everybody doesn't agree. You're not going to agree. We're human beings. We have different opinions and different attitudes. For me, again, when it comes to disciplining the children, it's choice and consequence. And I'm going to give it to y'all. Thank God I'm not doing it anymore. I don't have to do it anymore. They're grown up. God rest one soul in heaven, and the other one is here raising her own kids, and that's what it is. And she got to deal with that now. And all I can give you, little mama, is advice. And I'm happy to do it. But ultimately, you have to figure out what works for you. As long as you ain't, on the borderline of abusing the kids, we're good. Do what you do. So Lola says, I think in my case, I parented opposite than how my mom did because I didn't want Chris to be like I was. Right. So you recognize the deficiencies that you saw, and you were like, you know what, I'm going to be a little bit more tough on you because, you know what, I was wilding out, or I was, too sheltered, or whatever the case was, and I want him to have the world and see that the world out here is this and that. I'm going to tell you, I have to, you did a great job. He's a great kid, a great young man, raising his own kids. I can attest to that. I've been with him since the day he was born. So trust I know these things, right? He's an awesome child. Anybody else have anything like the difficulties that you've seen thus far? What have you experienced besides the empty nest? They go to college or they leave the home, period, for whatever their personal choices are. They get married, especially young ladies. We see that it's difficult, even as aunts and cousins and grandparents and, second cousins and nieces and nephews and all that. Even sisters, we find it difficult because we worry. We see a young 18-year-old girl or 21-year-old girl, and she's, in love. In her mind, she's in love, and she doesn't know the first thing about love. And you worry, like what's going to happen, and she's protecting herself. Is she going to be a young mom? Is she prepared? You know what I mean? There's really nothing that you can do. It's tough. It's tough. Trust me, I see it. I worry. I swear I worry for the people that I love, and my nieces and my nephews. I worry, that they make the best decisions, good conscious decisions. They have to do what they have to do for them. I just try to tell them that this world belongs to you, sweethearts. Just don't know, more than ever now. Lil sis, welcome on IG. Lauren, welcome on IG. Welcome, Jeffrey, on Facebook. And Jolanda, of course, welcome. And Jackie, sis Jackie, welcome. It's more difficult now than ever. This world is a whole different place. What they're exposed to is so much more, but you have to prepare them. You cannot allow the world to take on your responsibilities. And this day and age also, with the amount of horrible brutality we've seen, by law enforcement and my God, our severely, ridiculously flawed justice system, our ridiculously flawed policing system, our crime labs in the past. Look at Texas, where we live in Texas. People love Texas, but seriously, if you've been a Texan for any length of time, whether you were born into it or not, whether you're a transplant, Harris County, city of Houston alone, you could be ashamed of what your city or your county has done to people. People on death row in Texas that are completely innocent. People who are situations is so difficult now. So very difficult now. So you have to prepare, you have to teach them, you have to prepare them. They can't just go through this world. They can't just go through this world not knowing. They need to be aware and knowledgeable of this world. They need to see the ugly in this world. They need to be exposed to these things taught by the parents so they can be aware. You can't just go to this world with this innocence. You want them to be, and they're not prepared to know that there really is ugly that does exist. It's sad, but true. Nasty exists out here in this so very flawed judicial system, so very flawed, specifically, and this country. It's designed for many to fail. And, it's important for you to teach them that. That's your responsibility. So, I'm not really sure. This topic is a tough one. All things parenting. I mean, whether you're even parenting with a significant other, it's a difficult topic. This topic is difficult. Whether they're grown and they leave your nest. So really, we're having some connectivity issues. I'm gonna try to end and reconnect.